Hi guys, welcome to Hoops Junction. Today we're talking about the generational divide, the generational gap between today's NBA's players and the past NBA players. Recently Paul Pierce came out and he said that he doesn't believe that today's NBA players are as hungry as his generation was. And his generation was Kobe, Garnett, Tim Duncan of course, T-Mac, those guys. So Draymond Green came back and said, because he felt like Paul Pierce was taking a jab at Kevin Durant, which he was just basically stating his position on Kevin Durant and LeBron James, because LeBron James ultimately teamed up. He did the same thing, just in less, I guess people want to call it less, but to me, it's the same thing. It's just a different toilet. Different toilet. So teaming up is teaming up. It doesn't matter if you went to the team that won a championship or not. It doesn't even matter to me. All of it is the same thing. It's like saying you shot somebody on the chest or you shot him in the leg. You still shot him, so it doesn't matter. So that being said, Draymond Green came out and said that who cares what you did and who you did it for? Give it a break. So he's basically saying that who cares about critics like Paul Pierce and other people coming at Kevin Durant for what you did? I don't want to hear it. Give it a break. And that right there displays the huge generational divide and the generational gap from the past players to today's players. Today's players are pretty much handed everything on a silver platter. They have huge contracts. They team up. They hang out together. They work out together. Everything has changed in the past 20 to 30 years. I mean, if you look at even back in the 60s, these guys couldn't even get health care. So today they have health care. They have a players union. They have, and all these things. Oscar Robertson, thank you very much. A lot of people don't understand why the NBA blackballed Oscar Robertson. It's because he sued the league because they weren't getting proper care. And Oscar Robertson came out. He said, nope, I'm not standing for this. And they even were going to boycott All-Star games. So that being said, thank you, Oscar Robertson. But today's players, they don't have to fight for anything. So that drive to be the best, it's there, but it's not everything. They want to win, but they don't want to win to the point of detriment. Like in the past, Paul Pierce generation, Kobe generation, they will play. Kobe had a broken finger for like 8 years. He never fixed it. When he retired, then they finally gonna fix it. He learned how to tie his sneakers, everything with a broken finger. His finger points this way. His middle finger points that way. So, and a fun fact, Denzel Washington has the same kind of finger. So if you ever Google that, you'll see what I'm talking about. It's disgusting. That being said, these guys, when they wanted to win at all cost. But, there's a huge but. They wanted to be the bus driver. Isaiah Thomas talks about this all the time, where there's guys that win championships, and you win the championship because of him. And then there's guys that they won a championship, but if it wasn't for that player, they wouldn't have got it. So, like, for example, let's give a quick example. Like, in the NBA Finals, the Cleveland Cavaliers won the championship. But if it wasn't for LeBron or Kyrie, the Cavs wouldn't have won anything because, like, nobody else was really hitting on anything. Except for, like, J.R. Smith from time to time. Kevin Love had an awful series. He had one good Game 7. I mean, everybody else was mute. You see what I'm saying? So, there's guys that, okay, they got championships, like Mo Williams, whatever the case is. And then there's guys that, okay, he was the driver. Like Michael Jordan is a bus driver. Isaiah Thomas, bus driver. Shaq, bus driver. Kobe, bus driver. Paul Pierce is a bus driver. If you know what his history with the Celtics and how they used to be really, really bad, and he'll be the only reason why people go see him. Him and Antoine Walker. You know what I'm saying? Google that. Watch that tape. Watch that footage. So Paul Pierce is coming at it from a bus driver standpoint. What he's saying is, I can't be a bus driver. I got my line, and I go help another bus driver who's just as capable as I am, and I'm partner up. I'm reading his rate. I'm reading his route, and I'm telling him, hey, make a left. Hey, make a right. Oh, you tired? Let me get it. Let me drive. He's saying that back in his day, they were so hungry to defeat the next person and prove that they're the best That's where the gap is. They wouldn't do this. And Draymond Green is saying, "Give it a break. I don't want to hear it." And that's how these kids are today. They don't want to hear that because things are different now. They have so much. Their lives have enhanced so much. It's like these guys are getting $8-10 million a year, and they're bums. They're coming. They were backups. Now they're getting $10 million a year. And you're looking at a Kobe era where Kobe was a best player in the NBA for a while. Michael Jordan was best player in the NBA for like almost his entire career. He wasn't paid what he deserved until the last 2 years of his contract. Michael Jordan did not make over, you know what I'm saying? His contracts was like, all his money didn't come from the NBA's getting paid. And it wasn't because like he took a pay cut like LeBron. It was because the Bulls didn't think that, okay, we have to pay you this much money. So they had to fight to get what they wanted. Colin Cowherd came up with that analogy. Everything was a fight, a big fight. They had to fight for contracts, fight for the shoe deals. Nowadays, the Currys, the LeBron generation, Anthony Davis, they don't fight for anything, man. Nike comes up to them like, hey, it wasn't like back in the day where they had to prove yourself and the shoe factories had to watch you and everything. Like Adidas passed up on Michael Jordan because they didn't really believe in what he was doing. See, that's what I'm talking about. Like today, Adidas will see a player straight out of high school, they'll offer him a shoe deal. Like Nike offered LeBron a shoe deal before he even graduated high school, and it was like $90 million. And that's the thing. These guys don't have to fight for anything, as opposed to the past where you had to fight for everything. So they see it like, this is land of opportunity. Why would I fight? Why would I do this? I could just go here. I could go team up there. Paul Pierce is saying, no, not us. We wanted to win, and we wanted to let everybody know the reason we won is because of me. It wasn't because I had the second best player in the league. It wasn't because of this, that, or the third. Even with Kobe and Shaq, when they were winning titles, they would go back and forth. They'll be like, well, you know, Shaq is the reason they're winning. No, Kobe's the reason they're winning. Kobe could close out games. So that's just how competitive. Guys on the same team didn't even want to really acknowledge why the other person helped them win. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, these guys, and Paul Pierce is right. And Draymond Green is right in his own point. He's coming from the new era. Like, look, man, we get it. You know, you guys had a rough time, but this is our time now. Let us do what we want to do. But in doing so, you're ruining the competitive balance. And that's just what it boils down to. Now that Durant went to the Golden State Warriors, West isn't stacked as much as what used to be. Now you have Trailblazers, pretty good team, Warriors, Spurs, and Clippers, I guess. I mean, that's it. Like the balance. Think about this. In the West, you could win 50 games and not make the playoffs. Now that's not going to happen anymore. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like because of the competitive balance. We're not going to see those crazy rivalry games. OKC, Golden State, OKC, Clippers. Like those games are crazy. Warriors, Clippers. Like now, Warriors, Clippers is going to be like a run through because the Clippers ain't going to be able to handle them. I mean, they got blown out by 45 in preseason, so that's out. So we're not going to get those crazy games that competitiveness in the West. And that was the same thing in the East. Like when Miami formed together, they ruined that competitive balance because we no longer had that Cleveland-Miami rivalry. We never had, you know, Dwayne Wade and LeBron going against each other. Those games were epic. Now, at that point in time, 3 of the superstars in the East were on one team. So the only team that was like really competitive were the Pacers and somewhat the Bulls. Only 2 other teams could compete in the East. Like everybody else was not a factor. Nobody else is a factor. Now in the West, you have 3 teams that maybe could compete, maybe 2 teams, and then everybody else is not a factor. So that's what ruins the game. Because if you think about this, when you were a kid playing pickup, if you had 2 guys that were the best players, what did we always do? You broke them apart. You said, okay, you go on this side, you go on this side. You guys guard each other. You know what I'm saying? Or you would have like a huge team stacked with great players. And then there'll be like one guy, he's really good. He's just as good as some of those great players. He's like, you know what? F y'all, I'm going to be on this team. When I win, it's going to be that much better. And then when you did win, it felt that much better. Think about it when you're playing a pickup. A team is running everybody off the court. And then you come up with a bunch of Joe Schmoes that, you know, they don't think they're athletic. You're not athletic. You know, me and my friends, we always have this. When we go play pickup, we're not as athletic. We don't come to the court every day. We don't do all that. And we're playing against guys that are athletic. They're dunking. They're, you know, crossing people over, quick, everything. They play ball every day. And we beat them. You know why? Because we just know how to play. We're just that competitive. It doesn't matter that we haven't played in months. It doesn't matter if they're quicker than us, they're more athletic than us. It doesn't matter if they're better than us. The simple fact that we have that competitive fire. We don't like to lose. We don't like to team up. We don't want people to say, like, okay, you won, but it was only because of this. You won, but it was because of that. You know, you won, it was only because so-and-so got suspended, yada, yada. Like, I think, honestly, I think that let's just say, if it was like Paul Pierce and LeBron's shoes in the NBA Finals, this past Finals, or Kobe Bryant, or Michael Jordan, I think if they would have suspended Draymond Green over LeBron snitching, because he pretty much snitched and everybody was like making a big fuss about it, I think those guys would have said, you know what, if he doesn't play, I won't play. Or I think they would come out their mouth and say, you know what, this is unacceptable. Like, I like the fact that I won a championship, but I feel like it was not deserved because of the simple fact that I didn't get to play the best. I didn't get to play them at 100%. See what I'm saying? And that's the difference. Nobody wants to win. In the past, nobody wanted to win because they had a break or because they stacked the deck. Teaming up is stacking the deck. You know, it's like going to a casino. When you have you're a super team, you're teaming up, you're stacking the deck in your favor so you can win. And when in the past, when you won because you were the best and, you know, you beat the best, clearly the best, you know what I'm saying, you ran through the whole gamut. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't just like you played one team in the finals. You know, back in the day, you know, Chicago used to have to go through Miami, which is good, Orlando, which is good, the Knicks, which were good. Then they went to the finals and beat somebody who's even better than those teams. Today, it's just like in the East, Cleveland runs through they run through teams like nothing. In the past couple of years, they ran through teams like nothing. Same thing with Miami. And then when they get to the Western Conference Finals, then it's competition. When they get to the NBA Finals, then it's competition. And that's whack. Because you're not running through the gamut of tough competition like they did in the past. So it just makes it that much sweeter. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how to put it, but it's just like, you know, when you work hard for something and you had to go through extra hoops to get it, instead of, you know, you just kind of had to do one thing, send off a letter. You know, it doesn't mean as much to you. It feels great, but it doesn't feel as good because you really didn't have to work for it. So you really don't cherish it as much. And that's what Paul Pierce was coming across. Because, you know, like, the past generation players, when they win championships, they never teamed up. It feels like that guy who's at the poker table. He has a good poker face, and he bluffs, and he gets the house to fold. And think about that. Think about, you know, you're at a poker table or you're playing blackjack, and, you know, the way that you're maneuvering, you don't have the best hand, but you're playing the cards that you are dealt, and you win. It just feels that much greater. You know, you tip everybody. You're so happy. Like, it just makes you feel good. As opposed to the house expects to win. So when they don't win, they get all upset because, hey, I rigged the game. I did this. I put this here. I put a camera here. I made the lights this way. You know, that's what super teams are. Hey, I got the best player. Hey, I got the best coach. Hey, we got the best defense. Why aren't we winning? What's wrong? So it just doesn't feel right when they don't win. When they win, it feels good because they expected it. See, the thing is, today's players, when they team up, they expect to win. In the past, even Jordan knew winning wasn't promised. They wanted to win. They expected to win, but they knew deep down inside anything could happen. Today's players, they want to eliminate that anything can happen. They don't want to think about that. They don't want that to creep into their mind. They don't want the agony of losing to creep into their mind. They don't want to even experience it. If they can avoid it at all costs, that's exactly what they'll do. That's why they travel so much. That's why they're moving. They don't like the agony of losing, and they don't want the prospect of losing to ever enter their career. And that's why they team up, as opposed to the past. Guys took their licks, and that calloused them to be ready to win. So the losing prepared them for winning, because they tasted losing so much. When they tasted a little bit of victory, oh, it tasted good. Tasted good. And hey, 1 championship, 2, 3, 4, Kobe 5, Tim Duncan 5, Jordan 6. Do you see the pattern? Do you see the pattern? Isaiah Thomas 2. All these guys in the past won multiple championships. Weren't teaming up with anybody. It could be done today, ladies and gentlemen. And that's all Paul Pierce was saying. I understand Draymond Green, but Draymond Green has to understand, man, it's being cut from a different cloth. Like, if Draymond Green wasn't on the Warriors and he had to be on a sucky team, I'm pretty sure he would try to go somewhere else too, because he doesn't care who you did it for. He's just trying to win. He's just trying to win at all costs. Doesn't matter if he has to team up. Doesn't matter if he rides the bench. That doesn't mean anything to him. Reputation doesn't mean anything to these guys, ladies and gentlemen. Let's stop putting them in the category, and let's understand the generational gap, and let's just accept it. These guys aren't as competitive, but life isn't as competitive as it was in the past, so we can't even get mad. Like, these kids have iPods, iPads, they have computers, laptops. Their school gives them laptops instead of books. You know, we used to have to share books. You know, these kids have cell phones, 6, 7 years old. You know, I used to use a payphone if I had to make a phone call. I used to say, excuse me, you know, can I have a recorder? I gotta make a payphone. I gotta call somebody. I call my parents, whatever. This is just so different. Even like back in the day, having a computer was a huge luxury. Now today, everybody has a computer. So you know what I'm talking about, IBM and the AOL, you know, the dial-up, and you had to make sure that nobody was calling your phone so you don't drop the connection. So it's just different, and we just have to accept it and just understand it. This is Vlad from Hoops Junction. Like, comment, and subscribe. Hoops Junction, where hoops meets hoopla. Peace.